welcome you to the Pan Am Center on this Sunday afternoon for a rivalry matchup. It's NM State and UTEP here in the Battle of I-10 in the final match of the weekend in the Borderland Invitational. Play for the Aggies started on Friday. The Aggies, another sweep. This one was against the Pacific Tigers. The Aggies racked up 16 blocks as a team. You see one right there for Megan Hart and for Leah Mosier. Then last night, the Aggies with 12 blocks as a team. Block was great again. Aggies good again offensively, .313 hitting percentage last night. Savannah Davison led the way. She had 10 kills last night after 9 kills on Friday. Great to have you with us here today at the Pan Am Center. Adam Young along with the former Aggie libero, Kelsey Meredith. 2 straight rivalry matches. This is not easy for the players. How hard was it to play in these rivalry matches as a player?
I don't know if hard's the right way to describe it, but there's just so much energy and adrenaline that goes into these games. I mean, it's bragging rights for the season. It definitely puts a target on your back, so it's always good games.
Redshirt sophomore Savannah Davison emerging as a star for the Aggies, Kelsey. She's been really good all weekend.
She's been great. She's posted her second double-double of the season, and all-around go-to player for the Aggies. They really look to her to put balls away for them.
One of the biggest storylines here today is the return of Ben Wallace to the Pan Am Center. The new UTEP head coach is a former assistant under Mike Jordan for the Aggies.
Ben Wallace, he has changed the culture at UTEP in such a short amount of time there, and he has recruited and coached essentially the whole starting lineup for the Aggies, and so he knows them really inside and out, so it'll be an interesting matchup tonight.
We know how consistent this Aggie program has been. It seems like every year 20-plus wins. One thing they have never done is swept their first 6 matches to a season. They can do that with a sweep here today.
They definitely can do that, and that would be huge, and just continue the momentum that they've already built. And hopefully they're able to do it, and it'd be even better that it's against UTEP.
NM State looks to stay perfect as they play their Battle of I-10 match against the UTEP Miners. They look to get Ben Wallace a perfect homecoming. First serve comes your way.
At White Sands Federal Credit Union, we believe in you. We believe in doing what's right for our friends, our neighbors, and our members. And we love our corner of the beautiful Southwest. That's why all of us like to roll up our sleeves and do our part. With donations, things people need, community service, and all kinds of community events. Join us. Let's make our world a better place, one person at a time.
Yeah, John here.
Te necesitamos en el teatro.
Upa.
El mundo del espectáculo no es para ti.
Ponte metas realistas.
Tu apellido no va con joder.
I got this.
That accent is so difficult to understand.
Hazme reír.
¿Qué escoges esta carrera?
Presentamos. That's right, here we go, people, here we go. Look how far we've come, huh?
From the beginning, Wells Fargo has supported community organizations like United Way, nonprofits like the American Red Cross, and our nation's veterans. We knew helping our communities was important then, and we know it's even more important today. So we're stepping up to volunteer more and donate over $1 million every day so our communities can be even stronger. It's a new day at Wells Fargo, but it's a lot like our first day.
This copyrighted broadcast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield IMG College, under the broadcasting rights granted by New Mexico State University. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of New Mexico State University and Learfield IMG College. Welcome back to the Pan Am Center. NM State and UTEP here today in the Battle of I-10 on this Sunday afternoon. Adam Young along with former Aggie libero Kelsey Meredith. NM State looking for their 9th straight win against UTEP. And at the helm for UTEP right now is Ben Wallace, who we talked about during the Open, the former Aggie assistant coach, who most recently was the associate head coach for NM State, is in his first year with the Miners. They only won 5 matches last year. They've already won 4 in Ben's first 6 matches during his tenure, so you could say already surpassing expectations in the first 2 weekends. His lineup looks like this: Patterson, Yost, and then Mikovic, who is a junior out of Serbia. The setter is Sayena Masaki, who's a junior out of Hawaii. Cheyenne Jones, a junior out of Missoula, Montana. Irba Lazda is only a freshman. She is from Latvia. Team best 453 hitting percentage. And the libero is Alex Torres for UTEP, a sophomore from Hutto, Texas. And there's the head coach for the Aggies. It is Mike Jordan, now in his 22nd season. Entered the weekend with 469 career wins as the head coach of this program. This match could be a little different for him because he knows Ben Wallace so well, and I know Mike wants Ben to do well every single match this year, except the match here today, when the two really good friends match up against each other. Mike Jordan's lineup: Ashley Anselmo is a senior out of Manhattan Beach, California. Kat Kelly out of nearby Albuquerque. Juliana Salanoa turning into a star. Megan Hart, the MVP of the WAC tournament last year. Natalie Michaels is the setter. Savannah Davison. And then the libero, Hallie Razzo. Keys to the match, Kelsey Meredith.
Our key number 1 is win the long rallies. Rivalry matches always bring the best rallies sometimes, and being able to put points up during those long rallies will help the momentum. Key number 2, win the serve and pass battle. UTEP has a very tough serve, and it's going to test the Aggies and serve receive and being able to run their offense productively. And key number 3 is consistent set placement. Mike Jordan's talked a lot about being able to better the out-of-system balls, and that comes with being able to put balls up that the hitters are able to attack efficiently.
Really cool moment right there.
Very cool
Ben
moment
Wallace,
right there.
Mike Jordan meeting up. Both guys, I'm sure, very emotional. They're still really good friends, even with the rivalry.
Yeah, very good friends. They talk every day still, and we were talking to Mike a little bit before the match, and like you mentioned a little earlier, he wants Ben to do the absolute best he can do, except tonight. Of course, they want to get the W.
Talking to Mike Jordan earlier this week as well, he said, I was very supportive of Ben getting this job. In fact, he said, I helped him get the job at UTEP, which doesn't always happen in this business. That's really cool. And then we saw Mike Jordan go over and hug his former player, Tatiana Battle, who is now a grad assistant for UTEP, and we'll talk about that as we go along during the course of today's match. Tons of storylines, right?
Lots of storylines, and it's great and is only going to add some fuel to the fire probably for the match tonight.
Good crowd on hand. The Aggies drew almost 1,500 last night in their rivalry win against UNM. Mike Jordan's ball club just off to almost a perfect start to the season. There's always something you can improve on, but right now the Aggies are playing at a pretty high level.
Playing at a very high level, and I know the biggest thing that they want to do tonight is be able to handle the tough serves that UTEP throws at them.
Serve receive for Kat Kelly. Michaels chooses Davison to start, and there's the block for UTEP. We opened up talking about the great blocking this year for the Aggies, and it's UTEP starting off with a block.
Yeah, and like we said, Ben Wallace knows this Aggies team inside and out, and their go-to player is Davison, so she's going to have a hard time tonight being able to put some balls away if she doesn't stay creative.
Michaels backside for Anselmo. She's been sharp all season offensively, hitting for a high percentage from the right side.
Always very consistent and always somebody that they know they can rely on with out-of-system balls.
Here's Juliana Salanoa from the service line. Pass by Torres. Net violation called on the Aggies. It's called on Megan Hart.
Yeah, she was going up on a solo block there, so I'm not sure if that's part of their game plan, letting the middle go one-on-one like that.
Serena Patterson on the service line for UTEP. Michaels with a running set. Dug out by Masaki. This is Jones tooling the block of Savannah Davison.
That's a big block they put up right there. And as we saw, they had 3 players up against Megan Hart right there. So they are ready to rock and roll against this Aggie offense.
Backside for Anselmo. Not much you can do with that one. Bump set. Goes to Mikovic. Good start for UTEP.
Yeah, UTEP so far has been very consistent with hitting those high hands and finding the discrepancies in the block. And I bet, you know, they've practiced that the whole week leading up to this, using those high hands off the block.
Tough serve receive there for Davison, who gets it back from Michaels. Dug out by Torres. Out of the back row, Patterson with the attack air.
UTEP is doing a really good job mixing it up right now, and being able to set their back row attack like that just adds a whole new element to their offense, and something the Aggies were not prepared for. They didn't have any blocks up on her, so they were let off a little easy when she hit it into the net.
Kristen Garrison comes in to serve. Garrison's having a good year so far, a sophomore from Piedmont, Missouri. And Cheyenne Jones gets the touch. She leads UTEP in kills per set, averaging 2.5.
It's almost like we're seeing a different blocking team tonight, Adam, and some of that's probably attributed to the serve receive has not been very good, and it's creating better opportunities for UTEP.
Shanked away by Davison. That's an ace for Torres, her 9th this year.
Yeah, very good. Savannah let that ball cross over her midline, and you always want to keep it behind you, or in front of you, sorry. UTEP has very tough serves, and that was one thing Mike Jordan was saying before the match, is they're going to need to really pick up their serve receive game in order to make this a competitive one.
And we talked before the match about how the Aggies usually struggle early on serve receive, and then they figure things out later.
Yeah, it takes them a little bit while to kind of settle into the match, and we saw a little bit on Friday night that first set they got into quite a bit of lull, and the Tigers were able to go on that point run. So hopefully they're able to pick up their serve receive and get rocking and rolling a little bit more.
Overpass kill for Leah Mosher. This front row for the Aggies so big and long, with Mosher, who is 6'2", Megan Hart 6'5", Juliana Salanoa 6 foot. Now the Aggies collect an ace.
Yeah, this is good. The Aggies being able to put serve receive pressure on the UTEP is going to create good points like that, but also is going to make them more predictable on offense, which should hopefully lead to some good points for the Aggies.
Out of system kill for Ana Maria Mikovic, a junior out of Serbia, transfer from Lamar Community College.
Yeah, the Aggies have had some very bad block touches to start off this set, and when you get bad block touches and the ball starts spraying everywhere, it's so hard to play defense behind that.
Good pass there for Kat Kelly, who was backpedaling. We'll see Megan Hart in the middle and on the right. Nearly a solo block for Mosher. Free ball from UTEP. Garrison chooses Hart, who tools the solo block. Almost impossible to defend Megan Hart with a solo blocker.
Yeah, and a quick set like that. The ball, is moving at a very fast pace, and it does not give any of the blockers any time to make some good moves.
Hallie Razzo with the serve for the Aggies. She's been their libero the entire year. Mikovic again, diving dig for Razzo. Quick set to Salanoa, who hammers it in.
Salanoa did such a great job right there, getting back and then making herself available for Garrison to be able to get her. You see how she gets very open facing Garrison, and like we said, good set placement's going to be a key factor in this game.
Do you feel like this has rivalry match energy early on?
Absolutely.
I feel it.
Yeah, the crowd's a little more into it. There's a great turnout today, which is awesome, and the adrenaline's going. It's great.
Some would say UTEP has nothing to lose today. UTEP has struggled mightily the last 5 years. The Aggies have controlled this all-time series, especially recently. The Aggies have won 22 of the previous 23 meetings. Kat Kelly's had a great weekend, and she misses on the cut shot. That's a tough angle.
That is a tough angle. She went for it, she attacked it well, but it's just things that you can't be giving away free points like that.
Mikovic on the service line, serves it to Kelly. Garrison right back to Salanoa. And right when Juliana got the kill, she said, good set to Kristen Garrison.
Yeah, Mike Jordan said Kristen Garrison has been fairly consistent with the quick attackers in the middle, and that is so important. It really makes a difference when you're able to feed the ball to those middles, even from out-of-system balls where the setter has to pull back to the 10-foot line. And so Juliana being early and available all the time it really leads to some good points.
And Juliana Salanoa jumps a little higher than most middle blockers.
Yeah, she hangs up there longer than most middle blockers, I think, too, and that just allows the setter that much more of an opportunity to get her the ball.
That was Alianza Darley with the kill. In-state product from Las Vegas, New Mexico. Only a freshman, 5'11", middle blocker. She was on the right side there.
It's awesome to see freshmen and underclassmen come in and make such a big impact, and it just, shows you what the future is going to look like for programs that have those underclassmen being productive.
Kat Kelly responds, side out for the Aggies. We know a couple of things with Ben Wallace. He's going to recruit.
Right.
And the players will love playing for him.
Absolutely. He's definitely a player's coach, and he communicates really well, and he really knows how to work with girl strengths and weaknesses and bring out the best in them.
Bump set for Michaels. Outside tip for Davison. Good choice.
That's something I don't think we've seen her do, at least on Friday when we were in here. So it's awesome to see her getting in here and mixing it up, which I think is going to be so important because they have scouted her left and right, and Ben knows her, in and out like that. So for her to mix up her ball game like that is probably going to be a crucial thing for the Aggies.
Ben Wallace's Miners ahead by 1. Miners have had a really long weekend. They played 2 straight 5-set matches. This is their 4th match of the weekend. The Aggies only playing their 3rd. 3 of the 6 matches this year for the Miners have gone to 5 sets. They are 2-1 in 5-set matches.
Wow,
only 5-set loss came in the previous match against Pacific.
They have played a lot of volleyball this weekend. We were talking a little bit about that on Friday, it was a pro for the Aggies only doing 3-set matches so far. So then, we flipped that, and the Miners have played a lot, and you can't tell right now, but maybe that's some of this rivalry adrenaline going on.
Davison blocked away solo. It's the Missoula, Montana native, Cheyenne Jones.
Ooh, she did a very good job blocking her. You can tell Ben has scouted these Aggies so well. She stood there. She jumped into her line of approach. She knew Savannah was going to try to turn it back, and she stood there, held her ground, penetrated well. That was a great solo block. That
brings up a good point because Mike Jordan mentioned to us, he said, look, Ben Wallace knows us as well as anybody.
Right.
So he will know our tendencies. He will know our deficiencies better than anybody else because he recruited these players and he coached these players.
Right. Yeah, and we were talking, it's one thing that he knows them so well, but then another thing to get his players to be able to get out there and execute it. So they're doing great.
14-10 Miners. The return of Ben Wallace here in the Battle of I-10.
In the WAC, we value sportsmanship on the field,
on the track, on the court, in the pool,
and in the stands.
We take pride in playing fair and being honest.
We honor the game by showing respect for our opponents,
the officials,
the fans, and our team.
Great sportsmanship is about keeping everything in perspective.
It's about taking ownership after a loss.
And being humble after a win.
We hope you'll team up with us by staying positive on the sidelines. Because great sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
We're back with you here at the Pan Am Center. Good crowd this afternoon for the Battle of I-10. The Aggies have won 8 straight in this rivalry and 22 of the previous 23 meetings. There's Tatiana Battle, former Aggie star, 4-year starter. Great to see her again. She's now a grad assistant for UTEP.
Yeah, she's loving it. We were talking a little bit before the match, and she's getting her master's in leadership and public administration. Said she's loving it and really has stepped into this new role for her, and it's great to see her doing so well.
Now this is a little tough for her because she is still really good friends with numerous players, including Megan Hart, who Tatiana came in with as a freshman. Megan Hart is in her 5th year, so Megan Hart was in the same recruiting class as Tatiana Battle.
Right.
They're still very close, and I know the fans love seeing Tatiana come back.
Yeah, absolutely. She's definitely a fan favorite, and I'm sure it's tough for them, you know, to be battling against each other, but what a cool experience that they're going to be able to look back on and be like, this was so neat. And by the way, we beat you.
Exactly. Dig for Kelly. Long front set for Michaels. The block's been good early for UTEP. Free ball from Misaki. Davison with a tip. Now last year she probably wouldn't have done that, Kelsey Meredith. She is much better with her shot selection this year.
Yeah, and I would even say last year definitely not, but even earlier this season we have not seen a lot of that from her, but she's been being coached and she knows Ben knows her, and she's got to mix things up or she's going to have a tough time putting up some good numbers.
And Selmo from the right pin. No touch.
I was over here calling touch.
I was just going to say that. Going back to her playing days. Can you really sell that sometimes to the officials when you're
you can try
showing your fingers?
You can try your hardest.
Yeah.
And you usually want to target the line officials because that's who's supposed to be calling the touches. So you got to try.
And the line judges aren't the professionals, if you will. The up and the down officials are the pros, so sometimes you can get them to maybe change a call.
Yeah, the up and down officials can overrule a line judge, but it is the line judge's responsibility to be calling those touches.
That's a savvy move on your part. I could see you doing that as a player.
Oh, yeah, and you're back as libero. You're back there, and it can be very personal.
Yeah. Second attack air from the back row in this first set for Serena Patterson, who had a team-high 10 kills yesterday for UTEP.
Yeah, it's a good break for the Aggies that kind of cut the momentum the Miners have been building right now.
Block flies out of bounds. A kill for Mallory Yost, a 3-year starter from Gretna, Nebraska.
Well, right now, this is a different story for the Aggies compared to Friday night, and even last night, the block was almost the determining factor in those wins they got, and right now the block is hurting them a lot more than it's helping them.
Double contact on Kristen Garrison. Remember, the Aggies have not lost a set this entire year.
Yeah, when we were talking to Mike Jordan before the match, he said that's one thing he's actually a little anxious about is he hasn't seen his team have to work from behind and be down sets like that.
Miss hit for Davison. Mike Jordan's going to use a timeout here. This is not the Aggies team we saw Friday or the Aggies team we saw Saturday. They look totally different right now.
They do look different. A little bit testing of character right now, I think, with this rivalry. And like you said, it's a different feel in here.
Families no longer have to wait 2 to 3 years to travel to Albuquerque in order to obtain an autism diagnosis for their children. As of July 1st, a new autism diagnostic center opened its doors at New Mexico State University's Las Cruces campus. For more information, visit go.nmsu.edu. So what's at stake today for the Aggies? With the win, they would go to 6-0 for the first time since 2006. With a sweep, the Aggies would have 6 sweeps to start a season for the first time in program history. And now, with the start the Aggies have had this year, The team you're kind of looking at is that 2006 team that started 17-0. The Aggies are chasing down their records now. And that was probably the best team in program history, just talent-wise, and what they did with 33 wins that year.
Yeah, I mean, hard to compete with those numbers. And, number-wise, the Aggies don't have a whole lot to lose, if they go down these sets to the Miners. But a lot of it is just kind of a test of character right now, and you're getting to see what they're made of and how they're able to work through some adversity and work from behind. So hopefully they're able to come together, and we'll see that upperclassmen leadership try to pull them through this.
We were running through some of the names that played for that 2006 squad that started 17-0. You mentioned Kim Ogu, Crystal Torres, local product, Amber Simpson. Yeah.
Whitney Woods. Yeah, there's some. Every year there's great names to go back to here with the Aggies. But yeah, that was a great season.
Megan Hart gets the touch. The Aggies within 4. Sometimes I forget that 05, 06, 07, 08, early years for you as well. This program was always receiving votes or in the top 25. And when you talk to Megan Hart and talk to Mike Jordan, I should say, and try to compare the players he has now and the teams he has now to back then, he said, you got to remember, at one point we were ranked 13 in the country.
Right.
And we had some elite athletes. So.
Very elite. And with some of the athletes we just named off too, and a lot of that, I've always commended Mike Jordan and respected him so much because he brings in these raw, talented athletes who really don't know the game of volleyball very well, and he just transforms them and coaches them up and gives them the techniques and gets them bought into the systems, and he has created just amazing players throughout his career here.
He loves the projects.
He loves the projects, and how great you have just raw talent and you get to shape them into whatever you need them to be to make your team a winning team. And he's a great coach, and it just shows you how much the players respond to him and are bought into what he's teaching.
Kill number 2 for Irba Lazda, freshman from Latvia. She's hitting almost 500 this year. Dig for Fritchie, swing for Lazda, dug out by Razzo. Kelly attacks. There's a touch. It was too long, but there was a touch for Kat Kelly.
Yeah, the Aggies need all the help they can get right now. So I'd be battling for every touch point I could if I was in there.
This might be a good thing for the Aggies too. Mike Jordan was wondering how would his team respond when they were tested. And they're being tested right now by UTEP.
They are absolutely being tested on all aspects, on offensively, defensively, serve, receive. So it'll be good for them to learn how to work through this adversity and hopefully be able to come together and, perform well.
Double block there for Mosher and Salinoa. And a timeout is called by the UTEP Miners. So the Aggies coming back within 4 here at the Pan Am Center. Well, WAC play is right around the corner. The Aggies picked to win the WAC again this year and in the preseason. Aggie head coach Mike Jordan talked about that preseason pull and having the target on their back.
It's nice that we have that respect. I do think we're a contender for sure. But what you do during the season obviously is a lot more important than what people vote on in the preseason.
Aggies won the WAC tourney title a year ago. They've dominated the WAC. Typically, the Aggies in the last 4 or 5 years have been really good in the regular season, then struggled in the conference tournament, but last year got back on track there and were able to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2015. What do the Aggies need to do better in order to fully come back here in set 1, Kelsey?
They need to pass, serve, receive. They need to handle. UTEP has thrown some really hard serves at them, and they need to be able to handle it efficiently and be able to run their system and do the things that they've been working on in practice.
Hallie Razzo has been the best server numbers-wise for the Aggies this year. Sophomore from Chandler, Arizona. And it's a service error.
Oh, that is just a killer. It makes me hold my breath over here. Can't be missing. You should not be missing serves.
Especially out of timeout.
Out of timeout and this late in the game.
Mikovic serves it to Kelly. Kelly through the seam and off the hands of Torres.
She did a really great job in serve receive and made a great transition move, and they're feeding balls out to the pins a little bit faster, I think, than they were last year for sure. So she was able to get a good blocking opportunity in front of her and be able to put the ball away.
UTEP ahead by 4. Big reason why is they're hitting .400 right now offensively. Pass by Patterson, backside for Darley. Net violation on Kat Kelly.
Yeah, the down ref over there is saying that it was her forearm that touched the tape. We'll see here. Looked like it might have, the ball hit it and then maybe her forearm touched it, but can't be making those mistakes.
Slide play for Salinoa.
The Aggies need to have that happening a little bit more often, being able to use her in transition, but in serve receive when they're in system. You see there, 0 block in front of her. So great job being able to take that opportunity and capitalize on it.
Right back to Patterson, off the hand, saved by Kelly. Swing for Davison, goes off her head. That's a block combo for Darley and Yost.
They are keyed in on Davison right now. She has had a double block with 4 huge arms in front of her, I think just about every swing. And this is going to be good for her to have to work through this adversity and do some different things and, you know, open up her repertoire a little bit more.
A lot of this is Ben Wallace, the UTEP head coach, knowing the tendencies of Savannah Davison.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's in her head right now. He knows what she's thinking.
Sienna Misaki serves it to Razzo. Poor serve reception again, leads to a back row swing for Kelly. Patterson goes around the block and in.
UTEP did a great job, Misaki, defending and getting that ball into a good spot for their defensive specialist to come in here. She did a great job placing that ball somewhere where they could go and take a great attack swing.
Four touches on UTEP. Good effort there from Misaki and Torres. Almost got it over on the free ball try.
You know, that was a great scramble play and winning these long rallies. So I don't know. Oh, you couldn't see it in the background out there. The UTEP bench is just in this game right now. They're in it. They're adding momentum. They're adding energy. So very good job for them.
Good serve for Jordan Pleasance, who just checked in. Free ball, Misaki. Michaels front set. Davison with the block late to close. All power on that one.
Yes, and a one-on-one opportunity. The middle blocker for UTEP stayed with Megan Hart, which created a very good opportunity for Savannah Davison. And nice to see her not be in her head and be able to put that away.
Yost ends set 1. The first set the Aggies have lost this entire year. And it comes in match number 6. Shocker early. 25-20. The Miners win set 1. Set 2 up next.
I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
When you find that perfect vehicle, White Sands Federal Credit Union has the perfect loan. Our super low rates mean low payments for new or used vehicles. Enjoy up to 90 days of road trips before your first payment. And you can even skip a payment or two each year. Already driving your dream? Ask how refinancing can save you money. For easy, fast approval, apply online, stop by a branch, or tell your dealer you're financing with White Sands Federal Credit Union.
New Mexico State Volleyball and Aggie Vision is sponsored by Route 66, Comcast, Wells Fargo, White Sands Federal Credit Union, and by Pepsi. Big surprise here at the Pan Am Center. UTEP wins set 1. The Aggies had won every single set in their first 5 matches this year, and they dropped set 1 tonight against the UTEP Miners. Join us on Wednesday nights at Rudy's Barbecue for the Aggie Coaches Show, 6 until 7. Aggie head coach Mike Jordan will join us, 1020 North Telshire Boulevard. That's the Aggie Coaches Show, Wednesday nights at Rudy's Barbecue. Well, we did not expect this, Kelsey.
On fire right now in their energy. They're out hustling the Aggies right now.
UTEP hit 440 in set 1. Pretty impressive hitting percentage. They also outblocked the Aggies. They had 1 ace, no service errors. The Aggies 1 ace, 1 service error. You've referenced it numerous times. The energy from that UTEP bench is through the roof right now.
It's through the roof right now, and they came out and they're ready to rock and roll. And sometimes I don't think people give the bench enough credit for adding the energy and adding momentum into games like that, but it really makes a difference when every single person on your team, on the bench or on the floor, even the trainers behind the bench, are engaged and ready to go.
Final match of the weekend for both. This is the 4th match this weekend, though, for UTEP, the 3rd for NM State. We'll see going forward if stamina becomes an issue for Ben Wallace's team. Could be running on adrenaline right now. Who knows?
Yeah, and it seems like it. And, you know, all the athletes they're prepared for these long matches. In preseason, they work their butts off, you know, strength and conditioning and showing up in practice and hustling and working hard. So they're ready and they're prepared for these long matches.
5 kills for Savannah Davison to lead all players in this match so far for the Aggies, and 4 kills for Mallory Yost to lead UTEP.
Yeah, it's amazing actually to hear that statistic with how much UTEP is cued in on Savannah Davison right now. So the fact she's still able to put up some numbers, and she's had 4 arms up in front of her, I think, every single swing. So hopefully she's able to continue mixing up her shots and being able to produce for the Aggies.
Good serve for Garrison. UTEP out of system, so a free ball from Patterson. Garrison to Davison, rolls it in. Great choice again.
Great choice, and how easy did she make that look? Completely took an off-speed shot, placed it perfectly where nobody was standing, and kill for the Aggies.
Kristen Garrison, a sophomore from Piedmont, Missouri. Davison on the swap.
Mike Jordan was saying at the beginning of the match when I was upstairs talking to him that Savannah is by far the most competitive person on this squad day in and day out. And he's kind of learned to just leave her alone sometimes and not, you know, get in her head too much and be almost trying to coach her too much during the game. So it's nice to see her come back out and start the game off strong like that.
Net violation on Misaki. Nope, double touch. Either way, she was near the net. 3-0 Aggies here in set 2.
This is a much better way to get the ballgame started off for the Aggies.
Misaki near the net again, and Mosher can't keep it up. The look on Mike Jordan's face says it all. Had his hands covering his eyes, and those are frustrating because it wasn't much there in the tip by Yost, and you have to be able to handle that.
Absolutely, and they work hard on handling those funky balls, a lot of times when they start scrimmage drills, the ball is initiated by doing something funky like that just to prepare you for anything that could come. And so definitely frustrating to take a really easy ball like that and not do something productive with it.
Rolled over by Davison, and Patterson can't save it. Davison collects another kill. She has 7.
Yeah, and you know what? Those shots she's been doing, the cut shots to the corner, really taking a lot of speed off the ball and just placing it nicely, is something we did not see her do in the first set. So it's nice to see her come out and do something she probably wasn't scouted to do.
Service air on Davison. Side out for UTEP. Long back set, good back set by Garrison, but Hart is denied. Kelly swings, lands on the Aggie side, a block for UTEP. That was a really good back set initially there by Garrison.
Yeah, very good. They've been working on that a lot, and being able to place those balls behind them has led to the Aggies being able to be a lot more productive on offense. Once again, another little funky ball that should have been handled a lot more easily and not led to an error for the Aggies.
Back row tip for Patterson. Kelly left-handed. Pancake try from Misaki, but she can't keep it up.
The Aggies are mixing up the shots a lot more this set, and they're doing better because of it. You know, sending ball. We saw Megan Hart the set before take one and try to tip it long into the corner. We've seen Savannah Davison do a couple off-speed cut shots. Now Kat Kelly. They're playing smarter.
Cheyenne Jones, cross-court attack.
Oh, I think we had a net violation.
Yeah.
I didn't see who they said it was against. That's our third?
Yeah.
Third net violation? That's not good. Easy points, you just can't be giving away free points like that.
Kristen Fritchie on the service line for UTEP. Miners are 4-2 this year. They were 5-21 last season. A win today matches their win total from last year. Attack air for Lazda. To kind of put this all into perspective, in the previous 5 years, UTEP has only won 34 total matches. The Aggies won 24 last year alone.
Wow.
So these are two programs going in opposite directions coming into this year. Now Ben Wallace all of a sudden is turning things around probably quicker than people thought.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it in the opening that he went in and created a new culture for this team. I remember speaking to Ben, it had to still be during preseason, and the culture he walked into was not what he wanted to keep. And so he's worked really hard at just instilling good work ethic and consistency and everyone being bought into this minor program.
I know El Paso is big into this rivalry with NM State, the Battle of I-10, and I'm sure UTEP Athletics Director Jim Center, when he was doing the hiring, I'm sure Ben Wallace was a prime candidate early on because of the success NM State has had against UTEP.
Yeah, how could he not be a prime candidate? I mean, just looking at his statistics alone, he's produced and been a part of a lot of winning programs, working with some really top-notch athletes, so he was a really good fit for this program.
Aggies have won 22 of the previous 23 matchups in this rivalry. Davison with the save. Razzo has to get it across. She barely scrapes it over. In system swing, Patterson. Lunging dig for Kelly. Davison with the swing. Davison with the kill.
Those were two amazing ups by the Aggies, and we talked a little bit about winning these long rallies. Those are such momentum builders, being able to, those balls are so hard driven, and they did such an incredible job keeping that close and controlling it. And sometimes when those balls are dug up that high, they have so much spin on them that the setters are down there waiting like, oh my God, they're hard to handle properly. So good job for Michaels being able to take that, make it a good set, and put it in a spot for Savannah to be able to attack it.
Patterson able to barely sneak it on the back line for the kill for UTEP. Service error for Lasta. That's the first service error for UTEP in the match here today. Both teams with a high hitting percentage. Aggies at 273, Miners 333, Davison a match high 8 kills. Out of the reach of Michaels, Patterson with her 3rd kill.
I know those balls right there are frustrating for a head coach to not have players be diving after and get up. It was an off-speed shot, and the fact that we didn't have bodies flying on the floor trying to get that up does not help with the momentum.
Raza with the pass for Michaels. Backside right side for Anselmo. Net violation on UTEP. Patterson commits this net violation. We've had a number of net violations in this match so far. Is it just the front row players getting too anxious?
Maybe a little bit. There has been a lot. Probably there's a lot of adrenaline going, and sometimes there's those one-on-one opportunities where you just want to block that ball so bad that you forget about your technique and your training, and hopefully they're able to calm down and play their ball game.
Savannah Davison and now Kristen Garrison with the 2 aces in this match for NM State. Patterson goes hard off the hands. 2 good blockers up front, Hart and Mosher, but Patterson able to collect the kill.
Yeah, they didn't get penetrated and pushed over on time to be able to create a good solid block right there. And sometimes when you have these long arms like these ladies have, if you're not in a proper position, you're a target and you're very easily used. And the Miners have done a great job using the Aggie block and using those high hands in their advantage.
And that block was automatic for the Aggies yesterday and Friday. There
and
you
just
go.
Right
That's
now.
what they were doing the last 2 days.
Yes. And I see Mike Jordan over there with a sigh of relief.
We remembered what to do, right?
Yes. Yeah, that looked great.
We talked Friday about Leah Mosher 2 years ago being the best blocker numbers-wise for the Aggies when she was a freshman. Now the Aggies have a number of blockers that have been efficient, including Mosher and Salanoa and Hart, and Davison's been better.
Yeah, much better, and I think a lot of that's just attributed to them all having a couple years of experience under their belt now and understanding what the coaches are asking of them and understanding the systems.
Double contact was the call on the center, Masaki, leading to a timeout for first-year Miners head coach Ben Wallace. The Aggies better in set 2, trying to move to 6-0 on the campaign.
Label me.
You know you want to.
Don't be shy.
You do it behind my back.
So say it to my face.
You don't know me. You know what I am?
I'm a pitcher.
I'm a striker.
I'm a point guard.
I'm a linebacker.
I'm a setter.
Shortstop.
High jumper.
Wrestler.
Defender.
Goalie.
Student.
Student athletes.
That's who we are.
Did you know that college students who frequently binge drink are nearly twice as likely to fail a test, miss class, or get in trouble with the law or their school?
30% of students who dropped out of school said it was because of their drinking.
Don't be another statistic. Don't let a few extra drinks derail your goals.
Know your finish line.
(13-8) Aggies here in set number 2 at the Pan Am Center. NM State here in the final match of the weekend in the Borderland Invitational. Also the final match of the weekend for UTEP. Aggies have won 8 straight in this rivalry, 22 of the previous 23, and the Aggies better here in set number 2. Kelsey, much better here in set number 2.
it seems like they've calmed down a little bit and they're finally in their groove and playing their ball game. I know Mike Jordan would still like to see his blockers be making better moves. But overall, they're putting pressure on the Miners with their serve game, and it's helped create some more out-of-system balls for the Aggies to be able to make some better moves on defense.
Attack air for Ana Maria Mikovic, junior out of Serbia. We feel like Ben Wallace will go heavy international going forward. A big reason why is his first-year assistant coach, former Seattle assistant coach Nick Petrovic, who always got so much international talent that we saw for Seattle U.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome being able to pull in some international players and adding a whole new dynamic to their game.
Another attack air. Aggie starting to pull away here in set 2.
Yeah, we'll see. The Aggies are more in system. They're creating really good pressure on the Miners serve receive, who are not handling it very well, and creating out-of-system balls, and allows that Aggie block to be able to make some better moves.
Service air, rare one for Kylie Tonje, who's been used as a serving sub during her career, but more so lately, Mike Jordan will leave her in for defense as well.
Right. It's hard. It's so hard to come in off the bench like that, especially this arena is freezing, and to be able to come in after sitting there for, 45 minutes, an hour already. A lot of pressure, especially in these rivalry matches, and there's so much adrenaline going. But, on the flip side, you got to get in, you got to do your job.
Overpass kill for the 6'3" freshman Irba Lazda, who's from Latvia. Torres with the serve for UTEP. Service air again. Razzo sends this one to the Miners. Diving dig for Garrison. Mosier dug out by Torres. This is Brianna Ariano out of El Paso. Free ball try by Lazda, and the Aggies don't recover. Well, that'll frustrate a coach more than anything.
Absolutely. And that's Leah Mosier's ball all the way. You never want to have your setter taking a very easy ball like that, because it automatically puts you in an out-of-system situation. So definitely miscommunication, and you should always go for the ball regardless, but you never want your setter taking a ball like that.
Overpass, attack air for Darley. And she had the open floor the entire way down that line.
Another very frustrating thing right there. She wasn't prepared. She didn't get a good jump. But those are like free golden presents, waiting for you up there. So very frustrating for player and coach and team to not be able to capitalize on those opportunities.
Nice left-handed tip. Irba Lazda again.
We'll see here. Yeah, very out of system a little bit, but they put it right there in the middle of the floor. That is actually the outside hitter's responsibility. So Kat Kelly should have been coming off to play defense, usually straddling the 10-foot line that we see right there, because it's very hard for the back row players to be able to cover the entire backcourt and everything that falls right there in the middle. So the off blocker is what they're called. So Kat Kelly was that at that moment. Needs to be able to come in there, get her feet stopped, and be able to, it's an easy ball, be able to put up and be able to lead to productive offense.
7 kills here today for Kat Kelly. That's after 27 in the previous 3 matches combined. Side out Miners.
Frustrating. That was very poor set placement, like we talked about as one of our keys of the game, being able to take those out-of-system balls and for somebody to be able to put it up in a good spot for Savannah, whoever the attacker is going to be, and to be able to even give them the option to do something good with it.
Davison gets it back from Michaels. Savannah Davison has 9 kills already. Yesterday she had 10, Friday she had 9. Pretty consistent with that number, averaging right around 3 kills per set. In case you're just joining us, the Miners won set 1, 25-20. That was the first set loss for the Aggies all year in 6 matches. Pump set by Salinoa. Here's Patterson, tools to block.
Yeah, this is a different Aggie block we are seeing than the previous matches. And, you know, one of their generally more productive blocks up there with 2 of their upperclassmen, and, you know, people that have been there should be understanding the technique in the system. So it's been a difference maker, I think, for the Aggies.
Float serve, a pretty good one there from Misaki, but Hart was able to handle. Patterson, cross court, dug out by Kelly. Dump play try for Michaels, her first try here today. Dump play try from Misaki. The Aggies read that one. Rolled over by Anselmo. Patterson attacks off the block. Anselmo again, her 3rd swing during this rally. Patterson again. Kelly, Michaels, now Davison drops it in.
You saw a sigh of relief after they got that. That was a very long rally, and good for them being able to take care of the ball during those long rallies and then be able to capitalize on an opportunity.
That was a long rally, longest rally so far today.
You know, at least I know when we were doing our strength and conditioning when I played, we would run sprints after sprints after sprints. And, you know, sitting back here now watching it from a different perspective, I definitely understand why we were running sprint after sprint after sprint, because that's all you're doing is just moving, changing direction, going. But like, you know, we had mentioned it a little earlier, these, you know, athletes are prepared at a top-notch level to be able to perform during these long rallies and have that stamina to last 3, 4, 5 set matches.
Timeout call by UTEP. They trail by 7 here in set 2 as the Aggies try to even up the match. 10 kills so far for Savannah Davison. It's always a great day to be an Aggie. At New Mexico State University, you'll find 180 plus degrees of opportunity. Level up your education and learn about the many possibilities at nmsu.edu. New Mexico State University, be bold, shape the future. Have you seen a lot of changes in set 2 for the Aggies at least?
They seem a little bit more relaxed than they definitely seemed in set 1. Set 1, they were very antsy, and like we had mentioned, seemed to get off to a little bit of a rough start and a slow start. So it's nice to see them settle in and just be looking a little bit more comfortable and confident in how they're playing.
The Miners in set 2, they're only hitting 129. They were hitting 400 in set 1, so things have changed a bit for them. I'm sure the Aggies have made numerous adjustments as well. Also a couple of service errors in this set for UTEP. The Aggies with a couple of aces here in set number 2. And Savannah Davison, after a tough set 1, is playing at a high level again here in set 2.
She's bounced back, and that's great to see her be able to do that, and especially as an upperclassman. This team relies on her to put up some good numbers and to be productive, you know, defensively and offensively. So hopefully the Aggies are able to, it would still be nice to see their blocking improve a little bit more. They're still getting some really bad block touches that are hard to defend behind. So a lot of that's attributed to the Miners are passing decent serve receive, and it's making it hard for the Aggies to make good moves with their blocking.
The Aggies off to their best start since 2012. A win today would give them their best start since 2006. Slide play kill for Yost out of the timeout for UTEP. Miners off to a 4-2 start after a 5-21 campaign last season. They had their 4-game win streak snapped yesterday in a 5-set setback against Pacific. And this would be a monster upset.
Oh, a monster
This would be
upset.
huge. Back row Kelly, right to Torres. Back row Patterson, she attacks, and Kelly digs. Long front set goes to Davison. Tough angle. Tough angle there for the redshirt sophomore from Canada.
Tough angle. That ball's coming from almost the inline, and you like to see your outside hitters get length, and they should be almost even to where the ball's coming from. So she didn't set herself up for a very good opportunity right there.
Garrison sets up Megan Hart. UTEP can't save it. The assist to Kristen Garrison on the kill for Hart. It's Hart's fourth with no attack errors.
She's been a very consistent attacker for the Aggies, and it's not becoming uncommon to hear that she's having very few errors or no errors.
I think Ariano just mistimed her jump. Never really got a hold of it, and now she heads off, and Ana Maria Mikovic comes in. Ariano from El Paso. Ben Wallace has 7 El Paso natives on the roster this year. Pretty good high school volleyball in El Paso, and Davison collects an ace. Set point for the Aggies.
That serve almost looked like it wasn't going to make it over the net.
The old float serve for Savannah Davison. Attack air for Yost. Aggies win set 2. Back on track after losing set 1, 25-20. The Aggies win set 2, 25-16. Intermission on the way for the Pan Am.
For Vegas-style action, play the hottest table games now at the casino at Sunland Park. Go all in for a great time with exciting electronic blackjack. And stay, hit, or play your way to winning big. Or place your bets on electronic roulette, where a jackpot could be yours with any spin of the wheel. Vegas-style action, baby. You bet. Let your hot streak begin. The casino at Sunland Park. I-10 to Sunland Park, exit 13.
Play responsibly. Helpline 1-800-572-1142.
Welcome to Paso del Norte. Here's a quick tour of our region. Ready for extensive life sciences research, El Paso has a totally revitalized downtown. The largest binational city on the border. Fortune 500 companies from 21 countries from all around the world. Business accelerator and technology incubator.
We're moving fast. Come join us at thecenteroftheamericas.com.
Be bold. Shape the future. Become fearless. We move forward. Break the ground around us. Take our knowledge and aspire to change the world. Success is not defined by those who wait. We shape success. Be bold. Shape the future.
Today's match on Aggie Vision is brought to you by Wells Fargo, Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino, Pepsi, Route 66, and by Comcast. Short drive for UTEP fans along Interstate 10. There is Ben Wallace's wife, Leah, a former Aggie player. And now she's a UTEP Minor fan there in the middle. And Ben's son's right there next to Leah. Watching this one, Miners Aggies tied at 1 set apiece at the Pan Am Center. When you join a team like the New Mexico Army National Guard, you're rising to the challenge to be part of something greater. There's no other part-time job like this. You'll serve your community and your country while you make the most of great benefits such as 100% tuition for college. Hit your future out of the park and contact us today at NationalGuard.com. Adam Young and Kelsey Meredith with you, and we have ourselves a match here at the Pan Am Center. UTEP has come here. They've been playing well so far this year and playing very well so far today.
They're playing they came ready to rock and roll today, and we've talked so much about it, but Ben Wallace knows this Aggie team, you know, all their strengths, all their weaknesses, and his players have gone out and executed what they've been working on, so it's led to a really good ball game so far. And
that was very evident in set number 1 as we take a look at the stats from the first 2 sets. Hitting percentage went way up for the Aggies in set 2. 276 is what the Aggies hit in set 2. 254 so far for the match. 233 is the hitting percentage for the match for UTEP, but they were only 086 in set number 2. So the numbers obviously changed for both teams from set 1 to set 2. UTEP played really well in set 1, kind of leveled off in set 2, and vice versa for the Aggies.
Yeah, it seems like they both kind of settled into their ball game, and maybe some of that initial rivalry adrenaline has diffused a little bit. So hopefully we'll see, you know, some good, solid volleyball from both teams, running their systems and doing what they've been working so hard on this week in practice.
Set number 3 coming up. The Aggies have not played more than 3 sets in a match so far this year. They will today, at least 4, maybe 5. UTEP is used to this. The Miners, in their 6 matches so far this year, 3 of them have gone to 5 sets, including 2 straight. They had a 5-set loss against Pacific yesterday. They had a 5-set win on Friday against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. A lot of connections in this match here today. Tatiana Battle, former star for the Aggies. Now a grad assistant for Ben Wallace, and there's Ben Wallace, the former Aggie associate head coach, who is now the head coach in year 1 in El Paso for the UTEP Miners.
And he's off to such a great start, and I don't know that I'd be talking up UTEP a whole lot, but being able to, you know, have somebody so close that you know and love and support and see him take on a program and just change the culture and do these great things, it's so good to see him be able to do that.
If you've only watched today's match, if this is the first time you've seen UTEP, you can tell their culture is intact for sure.
Oh, yeah. And different. So it's good to see that, and hopefully they're able to continue that throughout their season.
Miscommunication for the Aggies. Natalie Michaels with the front set. Nobody was in the middle, though.
Nobody was in the middle. So they've had a couple little funky plays where just the communication is off and it gets jumbled up like that. So hopefully they're able to settle in and do what they've been working on.
Kat Kelly gets the touch. They call there for the up official, Francisco Ayala, who originally pointed to UTEP and then changed the call.
It's those line judges. They're on
game changers.
They're on those touch calls.
Attack air for Mikovic. Ana Maria Mikovic, junior out of Serbia. 2-1 Aggies here in the 3rd. A ball comes on the floor, so the up official, Francisco Ayala, blows his whistle. Back to action. Kat Kelly serving for the Aggies. Serves it to Patterson. A tip lands in for Mikovic.
Another one of those funky plays that almost looked like a mistouch by her, but right over the Aggie block, and the defenders were nowhere to be found.
Backside to Anselmo. Rolls this one off the tape and in. Ashley Anselmo with her 3rd kill on 11 swings. Long Beach State transfer. Right back to Patterson, out of the reach of Salinoa. Cross-court kill for Serena Patterson. And Selmo misses the far line.
UTEP has come out and put some really good pressure on the Aggies with their serving, and they're having a tough time handling it, and it's led to some poor set placement and them not getting the opportunities they need to put the ball away.
Well, that'll count as a kill on serve receive.
Right.
They'll take it.
I had games like that sometimes. I ended my whole Aggie career batting 1,000.
How many kills did you have? A handful?
Yeah, a handful.
Slide play for Yost, diving dig for the Aggies and Kelly. Free ball from Razzo, back-to-back kills.
She's gonna have a career high.
Oh man. Hey, it all looks the same in the stat sheet. People are probably wondering, did Holly Razzo take off the libero shirt and turn into an outside hitter?
Yeah. This might be the little momentum boost that the Aggies needed to hopefully get the ball rolling for them.
Fritchie with a dump play. Good choice for Fritchie, sophomore from Torrance, California.
I just saw Mike Jordan right before that play happened tell his right back defender to look out for that. When we were up in the offices earlier, that was one thing that they'd mentioned is the setters really aren't a threat attacking, but when they are in scramble mode and trying to just get out of a rotation, that's when their tendency is to do that.
Pass from Davison, who gets it back. Davison with the kill. Savannah's up to 11. Davison really struggled last year from the service line, had a team-high 52 service errors. She has been much better this year. Yost gets the touch on the slide play. Side out for UTEP. Miners trying to bring a sub in. They're trying to bring in Ana Maria Mikovic, who replaces Erica Cianez.
Let's go, Shine.
Patterson, a sophomore from Red Oak, Texas. Her father played football at UTEP. Her mother played women's hoops at UTEP. So probably wasn't much question about where she was going to go to play college volleyball.
Yeah, how neat to be able to say that both your parents played at UTEP too. I don't think you.
That's special.
Yeah, I don't think you hear that very often where you have parents that were both athletes at the same school and now you're there playing. That's really neat.
Patterson gathers. Misaki to Jones. Saved by Davison. Mosier has to get it over. She does. Slide play Yost. Diving dig Razzo. Swing for Kelly. Rejected by UTEP. Patterson to Misaki. Pinballs around into the Aggie bench.
There's one of those really long rallies again that are just momentum boosters for whichever side ends up getting that point. The Aggies had some really, really, really good ups, but they were having to put everything back over as free balls, which are really easy to handle for the UTEP. So UTEP was in system quite a bit that rally. And then there goes the momentum.
Natalie Michaels checks in to serve. Junior out of Jenks, Oklahoma. Civil engineering major, great students. Somehow, some way, and I don't know how she does it, she juggles an engineering major in Division I college volleyball.
There was another athlete that was featured in the Friday match that was baseball.
Yep, Tristan Peterson.
That is also a civil engineering major.
Yeah, we had a biology major that we featured on Friday on the volleyball squad, Holly Razzo.
Right. And then another biology, Bridget Lowe, that we featured at the beginning of this game.
Yeah.
We were talking those majors that have all those extra lab works and just almost all that extra work, and then on top of having to travel in season, it's incredible that they're able to keep up with stuff like that.
One of the players the Aggies had the last 4 years who graduated, Brianna Ainsworth, she was a nursing major.
Wow.
So that, of course, causes you to use more time for that particular major, and that was tough to juggle, I know for sure.
Absolutely. And I know at the beginning of season, they have to take a look at everybody's schedules and be like, when can we actually get everybody here or the most people here at one time? And being a nursing major, that requires so much, like your clinicals and your labs. And so I don't even know if she was at practice or not.
She missed a lot of time, yeah. Well, like you said, you try to figure out the schedules where the most people can be here, not necessarily everybody, because you're probably not going to have a couple people practice consistently. Tough swing there for the freshman Lazda. Overpass, kill for Yost. That was actually Mikovic. Mikovic with the kill for UTEP.
Yeah, those are those really lovely presents they set up there for you, and she was there ready and was able to execute. Seems to be happening quite a bit for them.
Service error for Fritchie. That's only 4 for UTEP, but it seems like more because I think they're coming at pretty big times when they could go on a run and they're just kind of halting the run.
Right, yeah, and following some really good momentum building plays like that overpass kill we had just seen.
Kind of a miss hit there for Darley, but she got enough on it to get the kill.
Those miss hits are so hard to defend against here. It catches you so off guard. But it's just, you got it. They both, Savannah Davison and Kat Kelly, they weren't stopped on defense right there, and they were both still moving when the ball was contacted. And if you're not stopped, it's so hard to be able to make good moves and get there in time.
An ace for Mikovic as she rolls it off the tape.
Those are hard, too. Unfortunately, Juliana Salano is the closest to that, and she was moving backwards, getting ready to go into transition to be able to attack the ball.
Big swing for Anselmo. 5th kill for the transfer from Long Beach State.
The front row the Aggies have right now is probably their most productive, and you would think that almost the hardest to defend against because each one is a go-to attacker for them. So if they're in system, they should be getting a lot of one-on-one opportunities blocking.
Solo block for Savannah Davison.
Mike Jordan was talking about her blocking actually before the match and how she's really improved and bought into understanding their system. She does such a great job standing there and being able to dive into the line of approach right there and get that one-on-one.
Block was late to get there for the Aggies. And Selma was the lone blocker, and she was late, and Patterson takes advantage for her 7th kill.
This is turning out to be a really good rivalry match between these two teams.
Overhead bump set Razzo. Good approach for Davison. Attack air.
Mike Jordan's over there upset. He thinks that the setter, number 2, when she had sent that ball over on the second contact, it was a double contact. So he's over there not too happy about that.
Which is something you'll see frequently when a middle blocker or an outside hitter is trying to free ball it with 2 hands. You'll typically see a double contact call.
Right, or somebody other than the libero or the setter taking that second ball and trying to set it. And I remember a lot of my old teammates were always encouraged to just go ahead and use your platform to set it so you can eliminate anything there.
Kristen Garrison, 5'11" setter from Piedmont, Missouri, serves it to the Miners.
Oh, another net violation.
This one is on Leah Mosher, and Leah says, I didn't touch it.
You always say that, though, regardless.
That's the call. 15-13 Miners up 2 in set 3.
Did you know that college students who frequently binge drink are nearly twice as likely to fail a test, miss class, or get in trouble with the law or their school?
30% of students who dropped out of school said it was because of their drinking.
Don't be another statistic. Don't let a few extra drinks derail your goals.
Know your finish line.
By 2 in set 3. Miners won set 1. Aggies won set 2. It's been a tight match here this afternoon in the Battle of I-10 in Las Cruces. Time now for our New Mexico State student athletes of the game. Today we recognize Tennessee Owens from Aggie men's basketball and Bridget Lowe from Aggie volleyball. Owens is a 3.64 student majoring in individualized studies, and Lowe has a 4.0 GPA majoring in biology. New Mexico State University, be bold, shape the future. Very impressive for those two student athletes, Owens and Lowe.
I think we bring it up every game so far. It's incredible that these athletes are able to balance these, in any major is difficult. They all have, their difficult parts of it, but being able to do that and travel and be in season and maintain those grades it's incredible.
Point Miners out of the timeout. They lead by 3. Sayana Misaki to the service line. Junior from Hawaii, transfer from Western Nebraska JUCO. Leads the Miners in assists per set this year. Good pass for Kelly. Hart tips it right to Torres. Davison attacks, dug out by Torres. Patterson through the big opening. Huge opening there in the Aggie block.
Huge opening in the Aggie block. And they were in system, so she stayed and respected, Leah Mosher stayed and respected the UTEP middle, and it created a good opportunity for the Miners to be able to put that ball away.
That's in. Razzo thought it was going to fly out of bounds, so she let it go by, and it touched the end line. Timeout, Mike Jordan. 8th ace this year for the junior from Hawaii, Sayana Misaki. Those are really, really tough to judge, and as somebody in the back row, Kelsey, you have, a half second to kind of react to what you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I don't think we got any of it filmed, but in warm-ups, UTEP had put tape all the way across the antenna from the second white one there, and they were trying to get the ball under that tape. So you will always want to serve it as close to the top of the net tape as possible. So it seems like Ben has been working really, really hard on their service game because it can really make or break. It can really, really, really make or break games.
Savannah Davison has led the way here today for the Aggies 11 kills, and we talked to her in the preseason about maturing and becoming a leader.
This year, I kind of fit more into the role of being someone to follow instead of following somebody else. And I think that as the year goes on, as I build confidence and as a team builds confidence, I can be that person for other people on the court to look up to.
That's great to see. Savannah Davison has become one of the leaders on this team. Maturity factor has been at an all-time high, and the results on the floor are positive as well.
Definitely positive, and it's nice. It's been nice to see her mix up her shots and be able to expand her repertoire a little bit more, which just goes to her maturing as a player.
Float serve for Masaki. Outside swing for Davison, right on cue.
Right on cue. Mike Jordan was saying she is, we mentioned it a little earlier, probably one of the most competitive players on the squad right now, and their go-to attacker, and it's great to see her come out and put that ball down with some authority.
Kylie Tonje comes in as a serve sub. Jones out of the reach of Tonje. 6 kills now for Cheyenne Jones, who is from Missoula, Montana. Next weekend, the Miners will travel to Montana for an invite in Missoula, so Jones gets to head back home.
Oh, that'll be so nice. It's always nice to be able to go and play in places on the road, but where you have family and support.
Megan Hart hanging there in the air for the kill.
Really hanging in the air, and she has such long arms right there, so it's definitely awkward timing right there. But sometimes those funky balls that you flip over like that really create trouble for the opposing team.
Still no attack errors today for Megan. That was kill number 6. Aggies are down 4, make it 5 after the service error by Holly Razzo.
Oh, that's so tough. This is maybe the 3rd time we've said missing serves late in the game is just momentum killers.
Another miscue. Davison was kind of in between with that one.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of communication. And we've talked a lot about, the UTEP bench and the Aggie bench, and the bench should be contributing, calling in and out and cheering them on. So hopefully their communication can increase a little bit.
You said during serve and pass today, this Miners team can really serve it.
They can serve it. And like I said, they put that tape across from antenna to antenna, and they were just rocketing serves in there. And sometimes the flatter the serve and the deeper in the court, it's hard to receive and make it a good ball, and the Miners have really put some pressure on the Aggies.
The Aggies have controlled this all-time series. They lead 63-23-1. The last Miner win was all the way back in 2012. The Aggies have won 8 straight, 22 of the previous 23. So if the Miners somehow, some way find a way to win today, this would be a huge upset for many reasons. It would be their first win against the Aggies since 2012, and I think even with the way they played so far today, regardless of results, it shows you that this UTEP program is gaining some steam, and it's getting back on track with Ben Wallace at the helm.
Yeah, definitely headed in the right direction, and it's nice to be able to see them go out. You can tell they're following the game plan, and they're doing what they've been coached to do this week in order to prepare for the Aggies.
Good crowd again today. Great crowd last night, almost 1,500 for the Aggies win against UNM. Good Sunday afternoon crowd here this afternoon.
Yeah, great Sunday afternoon crowd. We were saying the crowd's added almost another element to the game, and there's a lot of UTEP fans in here, a lot of Aggie fans, and it's louder. It's more vibrant in here than it was on Friday.
The Aggies have won 25 of their previous 26 home matches. Point Miners.
Some of the Aggies were over there trying to call touch, but nobody went back to that line, Judge. That's where it's at.
Could have got it there. Kelly passes for Garrison and tips it right into the block. Kelly will swing. Miners ahead by 8. You know, you felt after set 1 was such a struggle for the Aggies, and then kind of back on track in set 2, you felt, okay, maybe the Aggies will cruise by here in 4, and now the Miners with a different story here in set 3.
Yeah, the Miners have really kept the pressure on in serve-receive, and the Aggies have had a hard time staying in system and passing it well enough to be able to run their offense.
Patterson sends it to Rouzo, diving dig. Kelly into 2 blockers. Jones and Lazda on the double stuff.
The Aggies were in system. They were able to run the quick set over to the outside pin, but the Miners, they were over there ready to go and had forearms up in front of Kat Kelly.
Over past Salanoa, over past Hill.
The net violation.
Net violation on Lazda. The Aggies were about to head off. They thought it was an overpass kill, but a net violation was the call. Then Lazda started walking off too. She was trying to sell it.
Right. Yeah, she really hit the net hard on our way down after that swing.
New life for now for the Aggies. They will need a long serving run for Natalie Michaels.
Yes, they will.
Shanked away Patterson. Double stuff up front for Salanoa and Anselmo.
Well, there's a little bit of momentum for the Aggies. It was very out of system ball, and they were both there, Anselmo and Salanoa standing there ready and made a good block move.
Service there for Michaels. Miners win set 3, 25-17. Miners have not defeated the Aggies since 2012. The Aggies have not lost yet this year. That man looking for a big homecoming. Ben Wallace, the new UTEP head coach. Set 4 right around the corner.
Last month, 60% of college students drank alcohol.
NMSU students who binge drink
reported feeling that their drinking habits were out of control, but they would turn to a friend for help.
If your friends drink too much,
don't leave them alone.
Make sure they get home safely
and direct them to counseling if they need it. Together,
we can make a difference and win.
Remember,
it helps to know your finish line.
Aggie Vision's presentation of New Mexico State Volleyball is brought to you by Wells Fargo, Comcast, White Sands Federal Credit Union, Route 66, and by Sunland Park Racetrack and Casino. NM State swept their first 5 matches this year. They have lost 2 sets today, though, here in match number 6, and it's against their big rivals, the UTEP Miners. Aggies won set 2, but the Miners won set 1 and set 3. Miners trying to go to 5-2, and they're trying to match their win total from last year, and they're loose. They're dancing in their huddle. And nothing to lose for them today, for sure.
Definitely not, and they're playing like it, too. They are going out. They're attacking from the moment that ball's touched. They've put amazing pressure on the Aggies on serve-receive, and it's just really caused some problems and really put the Aggies in a place where they're not able to play their ball game and run their system.
What do you believe Mike Jordan is telling his team right now before set 4 begins?
I'm not sure it's all appropriate for TV, but they have to receive the ball better and limit their unforced errors. They've given away a lot of free points, a lot of really bad block touches, a lot of missed serves, a lot of those funky balls that have just come over and there's been no moves to go get them. They have to take care of the easy balls.
The Aggies are back at home next weekend. They're going to host the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. No television for you next weekend, though. We'll have radio Friday, and then Saturday a couple of matches for the Aggies here at the P&M Center. Portland, Grambling State, and Lamar will be in town. And Michelle Kuster, the former player for New Mexico State, is now the head coach at Lamar, so she'll be back in town next weekend.
Yeah, it'll be great to see her back in town. We graduated together. And we were talking the other day about, I was asking her when the last time she actually played volleyball was, and it was like 6 years ago at our alumni scrimmage. But I know she's excited to get back, and she played under Mike and under Keith Rubio. She knows Ben Wallace. I know he's going to come say hi, so it'll be nice to have her back in town and be able to see what she's doing post-volleyball and doing good things at Lamar.
It's just homecoming after homecoming for Mike Jordan and Keith Rubio. First Ben Wallace, Michelle next weekend. Lamar's off to a 4-2 start. So is Portland, and then Grambling State is the other team. That will be here at the P&M Center next weekend. Aggie starting on serve here in set 3, and they start with the block. Set 4, I should say, as they start with the block. Ashley Anselmo and Megan Hartz.
It's nice to see them get out to a good start like that, and hopefully they're able to continue that and roll over and just play their ball game.
Joust to the net, tipped over by Hart. Free ball from UTEP. Michaels, backside for Anselmo, diving dig for Torres, and then a free ball from the Miners again. Block late to get there, and Kelly capitalizes.
Yeah, UTEP was keen in right there on Megan Hart, which is respectable. She made the right move, but, they shot it out to Kat Kelly a little bit. It was quick and just created a good opportunity for her to get it through the block.
Another serve for Natalie Michaels. Lazda blocked solo by Megan Hart.
The Aggies need her to continue to come alive for them and be contributing offensively, defensively, and really take on that leadership role for them.
Megan, 6'5", long arms, really good athlete. There's another. Kat Kelly alongside Megan Hart.
This is some good celebration we're finally seeing. That was an amazing move. Kat Kelly did a great job diving in and closing that block, and it led to a point for the Aggies.
Kat's only 5'8", but jumps really well.
Very well.
Maybe the best block we've seen her have during her career right there. Another! Megan Hart and Ashley Anselmo.
So now if you're the Aggies and you've gotten some really good blocks, put up some really good plays, you're going to be looking for some junk coming over from the Miners, some tips, or the setter trying to get him out of this rotation by throwing the ball over. So you got to stay true on defense.
Service here, number 2 on Michaels in this match.
Those service errors are killers. You can see Mike Jordan's face right there.
Aggies have committed 7 service errors today. Brianna Ariano serves it to Kat Kelly. Hart from the middle dumps it in.
A little awkwardly. It looked like she tripped a little bit right there, but it's nice to see them getting her more involved and running all over the floor. She's been playing on the right side, in the middle, running behind the setter. It makes it harder to defend against her when she's moving around so much.
Overhead bump sent by Kelly. Aggies able to get it across. Out of bounds for Lazda. All Aggies early on here in the fourth. Kat Kelly has a double-double, by the way. 11 kills, 13 digs to lead the Aggies for Kelly, number 4 in white. Dump play, Fritchie. Michael's there. One setter to another. Anselmo's well off the tape. 4 touches to call. The Aggies never got it over the net.
That's that set placement we've been talking about, and winning those long rallies. You have to, the setters, they have such a hard job, but you have to continue to put balls up that give the hitters a really good opportunity.
Service ace for Lazda. That's her first today, her team high 12th this year. You don't see many middle blockers leading their team in service aces, but Lazda is.
No, and she stands so far back there to get started, and she just rockets that serve. That ball has a lot of time to travel and floats so much, which just makes it so much harder to receive well.
Patterson attacks, dug out by Davison. Anselmo, powerful swing, handled by UTEP. Sent across by Patterson as she collided with Yost. Front middle swing for Hart. Megan Hart, 7 kills, no errors.
That's the second time now this set that we've seen the Aggies been able to do that, where they take an out-of-system ball. The setter was running really far. She throws it behind her head, and Megan Hart's been really productive going in right there behind the setter to make those attacks.
Patterson flies in for the kill.
A little bit miscommunication on the Aggie block right there. They both jumped with the wrong attacker very early, so it's usually a set play that you know that the coach calls for them to be, you know, on a good pass. They know they're going to be running that play. So I mean, once again, Ben Wallace knows the ins and outs of this Aggie team and where to attack and where not to attack.
Big day for Patterson, 10 kills for the second straight match. Cheyenne Jones dug out by Michaels. Davison mishit that one. That's her 8th attack error. The Aggies have 18 as a team. They're hitting .220. Aggies could not keep it in. A lot of hands right there for Anselmo, but just could not steer it in the right direction.
Lots of hands, and sometimes that's really just contingent upon like what way you rotate your wrist. So a lot of times when you're on that outside antenna, you should be turning in your outside hand, and when you don't, it gets hit and then will go out of bounds the wrong direction.
There's a block for UTEP. Patterson, only 5'10", brings the Miners within 1. It was 7-1 Aggies.
So right now, if you're the Aggies, you'd want to be getting the ball back to your hot hitter, which would be Savannah Davison.
They go to Salino, a good quick set by Michaels.
Awesome quick set. It's nice to see. She needs to get more balls. You know, when the Aggies are, which has been hard because they haven't been in system very often to get her those balls. But when we talk about the Aggies are in system, it means that they have the opportunity to set all of their attackers, which would just make it that much harder for the opposing team to defend against.
To your point, Kelsey, Salinoa only has 10 swings, which is 5th on the team.
Yeah, very low.
Needs more than that.
Yes, definitely. You know, but some of that's contributed to the serve receive passing not being at a point where it needs to be to get her the ball.
Serve receive, a good one there for Davison. Slide play for Salinoa. There's swing number 11. And it's kill number 5 for Juliana. Only has 1 attack air.
Yeah, hopefully she makes a really good move behind the block. And you can tell the UTEP is keen in on Savannah right now. So the fact that they're able to run Salanoa and get her one-on-one opportunities is really good, and will later on create better opportunities for Savannah and for Kat Kelly to get one-on-one opportunities, because now the UTEP middle has to stay and respect Salanoa or Hart or who's ever in there.
Salanoa doing it on both ends. Does it there defensively. She's been part of 4 blocks. Kylie Tonje comes in for Savannah Davison. Mike Jordan will give her the service call. That used to be Ben Wallace's duty here. Now Mike Jordan takes over, telling the servers where to go. Quick set again. That time Salanoa was in the air before the set really came to her.
Early, that's when you talk to Mike about things that his players can improve on. That's the one thing he usually says for Salanoa, is that she tends to be very early, which can play to her advantage, but it also times can just make for some really funky connection right there with the setter.
Kat Kelly with some steam.
And a one-on-one opportunity with the block, which, you know, just attributes to Salanoa got in there and put up some really good swings and made the Miners have to respect her offensively. So Kat Kelly got a one-on-one opportunity and had so much line to take advantage of.
Ariano gets a touch. Well, I think Mike Jordan's saying there wasn't a touch. Ariano sold it. It was so far into the seats that you almost believe it had to have had a touch, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that ball sailed.
Very sailed and changed directions. That's always the biggest indication to the line judge or up ref that the ball was touched. We'll see here, hopefully on the replay. Oh, it was definitely touched at the top of the fingers.
That ball shot straight up in the air.
Yes. There's a lot of drills that teams will do in practice where they put up these massive, almost like pool noodles that are all taped together. And so very, very tall. And you have to, as hitters, get in there and just work on finding those high hands, essentially, and being able to go up against these, you know, massive long arms. And it's impossible to defend against balls that are hit up like that.
These coaches really get creative. Boxes, noodles, whatever props they can use.
Yeah, there's a whole like cabinet full of props that the team's in charge of bringing out at the beginning of every practice.
Mike Jordan brings Savannah Davison back in for Kylie Tonje. Miners will not go away. They lead the match 2-1. Miners 1-1, Aggies 1-2, Miners 1-3. Left-handed tip kill. Megan Hart's 8 now for Megan.
It's nice to see the Aggies trying to utilize their middles a little bit more frequently right now, which will hopefully create for some better opportunities for the outside hitters.
This is really the first set today that's been really, really close. Miners controlled set 1, Aggies controlled set 2, Miners controlled set 3. This one's kind of going back and forth here as the Aggies get a big block on the right pin. Hart and Anselmo to go ahead by 2.
The Aggie block has really stepped it up this set. We see them actually making some good moves and getting some good touches, where I remember the first set, it was the block really worked to their disadvantage.
Alianza Darley, only a freshman, her first taste of this rivalry today.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from our angle what happened there, but, you know, Hart and Summel were both right there ready to go, so one of them must have dove in with their hand a little too sharp or something, but that's something they need to be getting touches on those balls to give their defense behind them a better chance.
Triple block in front of Hart, and she's able to sneak it in, and that will take us to a media timeout. Well, we have a close one today. The Aggies looking for their 9th straight win against UTEP, also trying to go to 6-0. The Miners giving the Aggies all they can handle.
Be bold. Shape the future. Become fearless. We move forward. Break the ground around us. Take our knowledge and aspire to change the world. Success is not defined by those who wait. We shape success. Be bold. Shape the future.
Aggies trying to move to 6-0. It would be their first 6-0 start since 2006 when they started the season 17-0. Aggies went on to win 33 matches that year. They also beat number 11 Hawaii in 06. Miners picked 11th in the Conference USA preseason poll. The Aggies picked to win the WAC. Probably not too surprising for UTEP because you have a new head coach. You only won 5 matches last year. You only have 34 wins the last 5 years. Everything kind of stacked against them. But if today is any indication, they're going to win some matches in the Conference USA, and they will not finish 11th. That's for sure.
That is definitely for sure.
Diving dig for Fritchie. And it's a net violation on Patterson and UTEP. Point to the Aggies.
There's been quite a few net violations this match.
Out of rotation called on UTEP. Ben Wallace frustrated. This will be a teaching moment for his young team.
Definitely.
You know, you talk a lot, Kelsey, about not giving away points on the service line when it's late and it's close. The last thing you want to see is an out-of-rotation call where you don't even give your team a chance.
Right, and you're in complete control of. So an out-of-rotation generally happens when, so front row and back row can, like front row can mix around and back row can mix around once the ball is contacted. So sometimes, especially during like long rallies, you go back when the point's done and you're like, oh my gosh, where am I going? And especially young teams with lineups that are constantly switching, which I know the Miners have been playing around with a couple. You forget where you are and who's in front of you and who's behind you. But like you said, late in the match and just giving away a point where there just is even no opportunity for your team to get that point is very frustrating for everybody.
The Aggies are trying to send the Miners to their third straight 5-set match. Miners had a 4-match win streak snapped against Pacific yesterday. A lot of 3-0s for the Aggies. This is the first match this year they have not swept. Now, if the Aggies would have swept UTEP today, it would have been their first ever start to a season where they swept their first 6 matches to start a season. That will not happen today. Now the Aggies just looking to go to a 5th and get the win. Attack air for Aureano out of the back row. When you get to a 5th, anything can happen. It's up for grabs when you play to 15.
Absolutely up for grabs. And we talk a lot about going on point runs, and you have one long point run, and it's so hard to come back from just because the game's only going to 15.
Big opening for Davison. Kill number 13.
You gotta love to see her get up and do that and take that ball right there, one-on-one. She took it, cut it sharp, and really put it away with some authority.
Patterson gets the touch as she goes hard off the hands. Patterson's in double figures. She has 12 kills, hitting right around 300.
UTEP has done a really good job during all their sets, being able to use the Aggie block and do those high hands, and it must be something that they've been practicing because it's a hard skill to get and to consistently do in matches, and they've done a really, really good job of that.
The Aggies have scored 6 of the previous 7 points after the heart kill. Megan will head off. Salanoa's back in. This is Hallie Razzo on the service line. Sophomore from Chandler, Arizona in the Phoenix area. Patterson, great approach, but too long. Negative hitting percentage for UTEP in the fourth. Patterson again. Heavy workload for Patterson. She's already approaching 40 swings.
Oh, wow.
She has 36 attacks. The next closest is 15. Jones has 15, and Lazda has 15 attacks for UTEP. Upcoming matches for these two teams. The Aggies will stay at home next weekend. As we mentioned earlier, Portland, Grambling State, and Lamar will be here for the Spring Hill Suites Invitational. Miners will head to Missoula, Montana for the Montana Invitational. Bakersfield, who Ben Wallace knows well. Giovanna Mello, the head coach of Bakersfield, close friends with Ben Wallace. And then Montana State and Montana, the other two matches for the Miners. You said earlier it's cold in the Pan Am Center. It might be a little cold right now in Missoula, Montana. I don't know.
Might be.
It is chilly in here today. Good crowd on hand, though, as the Aggies look for their 26th win in their previous 27 home matches. The Aggies have not lost a non-conference home match since September 2017 when they fell to number 11 UCLA. So it's been a while.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about, these statistics going on about sweeping and getting everything done in 3 sets, and a lot of that is there's usually Power 5 schools coming in here preseason, or them or they're making travels over there, and they haven't had that this year, and that might have a little bit contributing factor. But the Aggies have always had really successful preseason, and I know the coaching staff always likes to stack their schedules like that. So if things don't go well in the conference tournament, which there's been some blips some years, that if they get a couple wins early in preseason against those highly ranked teams, it gives them a better opportunity to get those at-large bids into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, to your point, within the last 5 years, the Aggies have hosted UCLA, Oklahoma, BYU, and Arizona.
Right.
So those schools have been willing to come here. They know it's going to be quality competition and also good crowds.
Absolutely. And usually not 3-set matches.
Usually not 3-set matches. Michaels can't handle. Side out for UTEP. Kill for Darley. Cheyenne Jones, who is from Missoula, Montana, comes back in for UTEP. Here's Hawaii native Sayana Misaki, junior setter for head coach Ben Wallace. Razzo passes to Michaels. Davison swings. One blocker, and she went right around it. Set point Aggies.
A lot of that one-on-one opportunity can be attributed to Juliana Salanoa. The last rotation, she was in the front getting those kills and getting those opportunities because the UTEP middle stuck with her, and it created that good opportunity for Davison.
The Aggies trying to send us to a 5th. Overpass kill for Savannah Davison, number 15 for the redshirt sophomore. For the 3rd straight match and for the 4th time this year, the Miners will play 5 sets. We're back for the 5th after this.
From the beginning, Wells Fargo has supported community organizations like United Way, nonprofits like the American Red Cross, and our nation's veterans. We knew helping our communities was important then, and we know it's even more important today. So we're stepping up to volunteer more and donate over $1 million every day so our communities can be even stronger. It's a new day at Wells Fargo, but it's a lot like our first day.
At White Sands Federal Credit Union, we believe in you. We believe in doing what's right for our friends, our neighbors, and our members. And we love our corner of the beautiful Southwest. That's why all of us like to roll up our sleeves and do our part. With donations, things people need, community service, and all kinds of community events. Join us. Let's make our world a better place, one person at a time.
Fans here today treated to a really good match as we go to a fifth set. NM State and UTEP meeting here today on the Volleyball hardwood. Aggie football home opener is Saturday, September 14th as the Aggies play San Diego State at 6 p.m. This will also be the inaugural Hispanic Heritage Game sponsored by Miller Coors. Be sure to get to the tailgate early for the Fan Fiesta, which starts at 2 p.m. For tickets, 575-646-1420. Or head to the Pan Am Center ticket office. What's your prediction for set 5, Kelsey Meredith?
A good game.
Unpredictable, probably, right?
A good
game. The way today has gone unpredictable.
It's always pretty unpredictable, though. That's why you got to show up and play. But it's great to see. I mean, especially it's a rivalry match, and there's so much more going on. Between Ben Wallace and Tatiana Battle, always being a part of the Aggies. And so it's just great to see a good battle going on.
Miners went to 5 sets with Texas A&M Corpus Christi in El Paso on Friday. They won that match. They went to 5 sets late afternoon yesterday with Pacific. They lost that match in 5 sets. So they're 2-1 in 5-set matches so far this year. They've been in a 5-set match 3 times out of 6 matches coming in, so now 4 out of 7. Is this an advantage for them that they've been there before and the Aggies haven't? Or is it just too early in the season to really have an advantage like that?
It's hard to say, and the Aggies are an older squad now, so it's not like 5-set matches or anything they're not accustomed to. But sometimes it could play as a disadvantage for the Miners just because, they've taken more swings, they've taken more hits, they've taken more, block attempts, so their bodies might be a little more worn and torn, but at the same time with the adrenaline, and they're ready to rock and roll. It's hard. That's a hard question.
I guess you could say this, that if there is pressure right now, it's probably not on that side. On the Miners side, it's probably on the Aggie side.
I would agree with that.
The Miners weren't supposed to be 4-2 to start a season. They weren't supposed to be in this match with the Aggies here today, or at least that's what people said on the outside, and they've turned out to be in this match here today.
Yeah, it's turned out to be a great game. Ben Wallace's wife and his new baby girl, Berkeley. It's great to see everybody showing up to show their support.
Ben's wife, Leah, played for Mike Jordan for the Aggies. So there's so many
dynamics,
intertwining connections today. Pretty crazy.
Right, she did not play her whole eligibility, and if she would have, we would have overlapped a couple years playing together.
The Aggies will start the 5th with Salinoa and Selmo Davison. Hart and Kelly. The libero is Razzo. The Aggies have not changed their libero the entire year so far. Libero for UTEP will still be Alex Torres.
They really haven't played a whole lot with their lineup in general. I remember when we met with Mike 2 weeks ago, that was something he said when they had started that preseason tournament. The lineup he put in worked and it was flowing, and he just didn't want to mess with it.
And that's kind of carried over into this weekend before today. The Aggies have had their first struggle all year. Savannah Davison, kill number 16. Don't forget, here in the 5th, you only play to 15. So the first to 15 wins, you need to win by 2.
Right, so all those errors that we've been talking about and points given away, really, they really just cannot happen in a set to 15.
Jordan Pleasance, who served a little bit early, is back in to serve. Serves it to Ariano. Slide play. The Aggies turn it away. Overpass kill. Davison again.
We see Mike Jordan over there right now telling to watch out for the setter dump. Like I said, she isn't scouted to be a huge offensive threat, but to get her team out of certain situations, she will do that.
Out of system swing for Patterson, slapped up by Kelly. The Aggies keep it alive here, somehow, some way. Jones sends it to Pleasance. Hart with the swing. Hart tools the block.
Hart had 3 blockers up in front of her right there. We'll see here. They're ready to, a little bit, a gap in between them, but they were up and ready with her. So good job her being able to find the hole and put that away.
Patterson's had a busy day. That one goes out. Attack air for Patterson on her 37th swing. Timeout, Ben Wallace. Perfect start to the 5th for the Aggies. We'll break. We're in the 5th. 4 Zip Aggies.
Let me guess, you left your wallet in your other pants.
Yes, and I need to get some cash right away. I can't be late to the game.
Do you have the Wells Fargo mobile app on your phone?
Yes.
You can use it to get a one-time access code to get cash at our ATMs.
Oh, that's better. Thank you so much. You know the team needs me.
Of course they do.
No, seriously, they can't win without me.
For Vegas-style action, play the hottest table games now at the casino at Sunland Park. Go all in for a great time with exciting electronic blackjack. And stay, hit, or play your way to winning big. Or place your bets on electronic roulette, where a jackpot could be yours with any spin of the wheel. Vegas-style action, baby, you bet. Let your hot streak begin. The casino at Sunland Park. I-10 to Sunland Park, exit 13.
Play responsibly. Helpline 1-800-572-1142.
Battle of I-10 at the Pan Am Center. The Aggies lead UTEP 4-0 in the 5th. Don't forget the conference opener is approaching. The Aggies will have their conference home opener on October 3rd when they play UTRGV, the WAC regular season champs last year. First serve is set for 6 p.m. For tickets, call 833 Aggie up. That's the WAC home opener on October the 3rd against UTRGV. Jordan Pleasant still on the service line. Pleasant's a junior from Friendswood, Texas, service air. And that is number 10. Mike Jordan always says, if we're serving tough, I'll live with it. I don't think he's happy with these 10 airs today.
Oh, absolutely not. And serving tough means you at least make the other team have to make a decision about in or out. So the missed serves into the net, which a lot of them have been. It's just giving away free points. No one can be happy about that.
Cheyenne Jones uses the block of Davison and Hart. 2 straight for UTEP. And now they could use a run from the server, Serena Patterson. Sophomore from Red Oak, Texas. Was a key contributor last year for UTEP, making 17 starts. Davison, dug out by Patterson, who controls it. Arellano, too long. Attack air.
It was too long. It was too long, didn't miss by much, but there was nobody over there to defend that. If that would have, put a little more control on that ball, that would have been an easy kill for the Miners.
$11 service errors. Ratio not great either. The Aggies only have 4 aces. Ooh. Alex Torres, a sophomore from Hutto, Texas. Service air. That's 6 for UTEP. First to 15 wins, need a win by 2 in the 5th. Kylie Tonje, a serve sub for Davison. Mike Jordan tells her which side of the floor to serve from. She was serving earlier right in front of the Aggie bench. This one left to right. In for Ariano. Just the second kill today for the senior from El Paso.
It's tough when you're the Aggie coaches or even the other players and not seeing any moves being made on defense right there, just having players standing around. You just can't have that.
Serve receive Davison. Garrison to Kelly. Dig for Fritchie. Ariano again. And she hits Chris Hurdle. The Aggie assistant coach couldn't quite get out of the way.
Good attempt.
Stayed on his feet, though.
Yes. Yeah, she took this ball and cut it. It was the right idea. There's nobody over there. That's such an open hole for them. But unfortunately, you have to control the ball a little bit better and not make that error.
Miscommunication for UTEP. They barely get it across. Kelly around a solo block. Ariano attacks. Denied by Salinoa. That was funky, but it results in a point for UTEP. Not the way you draw it up. Lazda notches the kill.
Yeah, very funky. You generally don't see the middles getting set out of system like that. But you know what? She took a very awkward ball and put it in a spot nobody was standing. An easy kill for the Miners.
Garrison to Kelly. No blockers, but it's an attack error. If she would have rolled it or just tipped it, Kelsey, she would have had 10 feet of room.
Lots of room, and that's so frustrating when you have such good opportunities like that, you know, and it's fifth set, almost tied, and you just can't capitalize.
There's still time to purchase your 2019 Aggie football season ticket. Season tickets start at just $65. The Aggies open their season this weekend, September 14th against San Diego State. Call the Pan Am Center ticket office at 575-646-1420. Aggie football finally back home after road games against Washington State and then Alabama yesterday. They're finally back home. Aggie volleyball will be home next weekend, so it's going to be a busy weekend on campus. You have football next Saturday, Aggie volleyball hosting a tournament next Friday, Saturday, so there's going to be a lot of events going on those couple of days.
Definitely, it should be hopefully a couple good days for the Aggies.
Mike Jordan will regroup with his bunch. If you want to look for some positives here today for the Aggies and think positive thoughts, the Aggies haven't been tested so far this year. They were tested here today. If they can respond and win this one in 5 sets, you leave with a good test, which you haven't had so far, and you leave with a win.
Right. Yeah, it's always good to get tested early in the season like this, just, you know, so you know what to expect and you've been there and you've done that. And it's always good to have your team have to work through some adversity.
Brianna Ariano on the service line for UTEP. Passed by Davison. Kelly will tip it this time. Patterson into the block. Patterson again. Into the block again. This one lands in. Successful block for the Aggies. And the two teams will switch sides. The Aggies the first 2 8s. Set 5 goes to 15. Like we mentioned, the Spring Hill Suites Invitational is next weekend, September 13th and the 14th. The Aggies will host Portland, Grambling, and Lamar. 2 days of volleyball action here at the Pan Am Center. For the full schedule, check nmstatesports.com. Lamar's 4-2, Portland's 4-2, Grambling struggling to start the year. Should be some quality matches next weekend.
Absolutely, should be some good matches, and once again, a lot of dynamics going on, and hopefully leading to some good volleyball.
Big serve coming up for Natalie Michaels as the Aggies try to extend their lead. A tip try by Darley, and it went off her fingertips. Aggies ahead by 3.
We'll see here on the replay. That was a planned play. Ben had called that straight out of the huddle, and unfortunately, they just couldn't capitalize on the opportunity.
Side out UTEP on the kill for the freshman Lazda. I've been very impressed by her today. She's going to be really good down the road.
Very good down the road. Like we had mentioned earlier, it's awesome to see these underclassmen be able to come in and get the experience and really get rocking and rolling early, and it's just sets such a great tone for the rest of their careers.
Miners continue to hang in there. Overpass for Davison. Miners in system. They choose Patterson. No touch. 40 swings now for Patterson. She has a third of the swings for the Miners.
Wow.
In total. Darley sneaks it in.
Yeah, hopefully for the Miners, they're able to continue spreading the ball around and not just relying so heavily on one attacker, because it'll create a lot better opportunities for them.
Let's go, Shai!
Jones too long. 3-point advantage for the Aggies. This is when things get a little tense.
And the Aggies right now have probably their strongest front line in right here with Harton and Selmo and Davison. So if they stay in system, they're going to be very hard to defend against because they're all very powerful, good attackers. So hopefully they're able to keep these girls in the front row as long as possible to give them the best opportunity.
Jordan Pleasance just came in to serve. Serves it to Cianyas. Slide play. In for Yost. Every time the Aggies get a little bit of separation, UTEP has an answer.
Yeah, Megan Hart made a really late block move right there, and sometimes when you're defending behind the block and there is that little split, it almost makes it easier for you to defend because you have a spot to go step up into, and Natalie Michaels didn't make a good move into that split.
Back row tip for Patterson, right to Michaels. Overhead bump set, Kelly. Good approach for Davison. Point Miners within 1.
That's what we've been talking about with Davison, is being able to take those out-of-system balls and do something productive with them, which she's been consistently doing. So unfortunately, it's late in the game, and making those errors is really frustrating, along with more missed serves.
The worst time to have a service error. Kristen Garrison comes in for Natalie Michaels. Here it comes from Garrison. Pass by Torres, pin to pin to Ariano, right to Garrison. Davison uses the block. Ben Wallace uses a timeout. His final timeout that he has left. To kind of recap this one here today, the Aggies fell in set 1. They won set 2. They lost set 3. They won set 4. And like we talked about in set 4, none of the sets were really close. The Aggies lost by 5 in set 1. They won by 9 in set 2. They lost by 8 in set 3. Won by 10 in set 4. So those are pretty lopsided sets, but it's been back and forth in those sets.
Very. And a lot of that is contributed to this serve and pass battle that's been going on. The Miners came out firing from the service line, and the Aggies had a hard time handling it. And then, back in set 2, the Miners had a really hard time getting in system and creating good opportunities for their attackers. So I think that's what this set is going to come down to, is who in these last couple points is able to produce good serve receive passes and stay in system.
Only 2 more points to go for the Aggies. First team to 15 wins. You need to win by 2. So the Aggies well within range of a victory. It would be their first 6-0 start since 2006, when they started that season 17-0. No matter the result, the Miners have shown a lot today.
Absolutely.
Coming off a 5-win season.
Right.
Already with 4 this year.
Yeah, you gotta the numbers just speak for themselves at this point for them.
Kristen Garrison, sophomore from Piedmont, Missouri. Not a good pass for Ariano. Now she'll swing right to Razzo. Options for Garrison. Hart from the right pin. Match point Aggies.
It's hard to defend against the Aggies when they are in system like that and they have all of their attackers available. Megan Hart had a one-on-one opportunity right there and capitalized.
Back set to Yost, denied up front by Mosier and Davison. Jones a push, diving Dick Kelly. Swing for Davison, handled by Patterson. Attack air for Mikovic. Aggies victorious again against the Miners. NM State with their 9th straight win against UTEP. They have now won 23 of the previous 24 matchups. It wasn't easy, but the Aggies win. Mike Jordan will join us after this.
Yeah, John here.
Te necesitamos en el teatro.
Upa.
El mundo del espectáculo no es para ti.
Ponte metas realistas.
Tu apellido no va con colores.
I got this.
That accent is so difficult to understand.
Hazme reír.
¿Qué escoges esta carrera?
Presentamos. That's right, here we go, people, here we go. Look how far we've come, huh?
Be bold. Shape the future. Become fearless. We move forward. Break the ground around us. Take our knowledge and aspire to change the world. Success is not defined by those who wait. We shape success. Be bold. Shape the future.
Aggies are victorious in 5 sets here today against the UTEP Miners. The Aggies have now won 23 of the previous 24 meetings with their rivals along Interstate 10. Want to get your degree and stay debt-free? With the New Mexico Army National Guard, you can get paid to be a full-time student. Ask us how you can get up to 100% tuition assistance, join the Guard and be a part-time soldier, and earn a college degree. Visit nationalguard.com to learn more. Head coach Mike Jordan joins us after this one. One of the things we talked about the last couple of days was your team hadn't been tested yet. You got tested here today. Did you like how they responded?
No. It took us too long to kind of turn, and we never got it going at the service line. We served it. We've been serving it really well this year. The ace error numbers show that. And then today we served lollipop after lollipop at them and put it right in their lap. And we never really got out of that. Other than maybe one or two players, we served it terrible. And I was close to subbing you in. I really was. I would put you in the game to go serve.
I can't serve either.
Well, maybe you mishit it and would have done better than we were doing. I give credit to Ben and his group. I mean, they had a good plan coming in. They attacked us in the right spots in a lot of ways. And, we adjusted to that, which was good. But we just kept lollipopping serves and kept letting them be in system to start the rally. That teeter-totter, it starts going in their way. You're in trouble. It doesn't matter who you're playing.
Did you feel like your team kind of reverted back to some old habits today?
I don't know. Megan struggled blocking it. She was way up in the air and not over the net. She got tooled a bunch of times. And so our block eventually started to come around. I'm not sure she really did, but there were some things that we did that just didn't make a lot of sense, that I thought we had kind of gotten out of. But that serving and passing part, they dominated us at that. And, we're just fortunate that we came back and, they made some untimely attack errors for them, and so did we, obviously, in certain stretches. It wasn't the best played game. We need to improve.
Finally, Coach, can you learn from this? Can this be a learning tool?
Yeah, it has to be. If you don't, you got to look at it. We got to look at this and go, all right, look at the choices we made. We hit low into the block a lot on the left. That was ridiculous. The way we served it, you got to go back there with an attitude. We just got to rethink some of that stuff and get back to the drawing board and make it more consistent. And if it is, then we'll be fine.
Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks, Adam. Go Aggies.
That's Aggie head coach Mike Jordan. The Aggies get the win today. It was tough, but they get the win as they improve to 6-0 on the season. The Aggies with their best start now since 2006 when they started that season 17-0. Here's some of the final stats. The Aggies hit 248. Miners held to 141, even though the Miners were right around 400 in set one today. And the Aggies only 4 aces. Mike Jordan alluded to the struggles on the service line. 11 service errors here today. Adam Young and Kelsey Meredith back with you. Coach Jordan not pleased. Big reason why was the serving, and we talked about that all day.
Right, yeah, it's hard to put together point runs, gain your momentum, and just play your game when you're just giving away free points all the time.
A lot of highlights to get to from this 5-set match here today. Let's take a peek at the highlights as the Aggies improved to 6-0. The Miners fell to 4-3. Just didn't feel right from the start. The Miners had a lot of energy early, Kelsey, and the Aggies just didn't get off to the start they wanted to.
They did not get off to a good start, and, some of that – it's hard to know what to attribute that to, but it was awesome to see the Miners come out here and give them a run for their money and just have one of those really great rivalry matches.
Like Mike Jordan said, give UTEP a lot of credit for how well they played today. The Miners won set one, 25-20. The Aggies did get some things figured out, though, in set two.
They definitely got some things figured out and kind of settled down and got their system rolling and were able to put together long point runs and were a little better at the service line and put some better pressure on them.
The Aggies won set two, 25-16. We went to a third, and it was kind of back to the old ways for the Aggies where they struggled on serve receive, leading to a lot of in-system attacks for UTEP.
Yeah, when you struggle on serve receive, it's really hard to put together point runs, and it just makes you so much more predictable.
So the Aggies had to win the fourth and the fifth to win the match. They win the fourth, 25-15. The block was really good for a stretch. We saw a blocking stretch like we saw last night and Friday during that fourth set.
Yeah, when you're able to put up good defense on the net like that, it just makes everything else behind you just run more smoothly.
And in the fifth, Savannah Davison kind of took this thing over. She had a great day, 19 kills, a season high for her. She had a lot of swings, 43 today for Savannah Davison, who was also part of 4 blocks for the Aggies. And every time the Aggies started to pull away, UTEP kind of creeped back in. The Aggies finally able to pull away late to pick up the 5-set victory on that attack error by Anna Maria Mikovic. So the Aggies get this done. They win in 5 sets. There's a lot of learning things from today, but it's a lot easier to learn from it when you win the match.
Absolutely. And sometimes, obviously you're going to learn if you lose too, but always good to get that win against UTEP.
Time now for our Whataburger play of the game, and a lot to choose from for Savannah Davison. We'll go with Savannah's first kill in the 5th. This kind of set the tone for that 5th set. The Aggies led the 5th set at 1.4-0, and this was one of many really good swings today for Savannah Davison. So Savannah Davison with our Whataburger play of the game. Aggies will stay at home. They're going to welcome in Portland, Grambling State, and Lamar next weekend, and this looks like it's going to be a big week of practice. Now, I don't think you learn a ton whenever you just win everything in 3 sets, and then you don't really know how you're going to react when you see a match go to 4 or 5. So you can go to practice this week and fix some things, but now the Aggies have been tested, which wasn't the case before today.
Right, yeah, it's always good to have to work through some adversity, and especially early in the season, so you're able to work out those kinks, and you're just in familiar territory.
Best start now since 2006 for Mike Jordan's team. The Aggies win again as they improve to 6-0. And that is 9 straight wins against UTEP. Back-to-back rivalry wins for the Aggies against the Lobos and the Miners. Join us for our next telecast. It's going to be Saturday, September 14th, when Aggie football plays host to San Diego State in the Hispanic Heritage Game. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Today's broadcast was a co-production of students and staff at New Mexico State. For the entire crew, my partner Kelsey Meredith, I'm Adam Young saying thank you for joining us. The Aggies beat the Miners in 5 sets. Good afternoon from the Pan Am.
When you find that perfect vehicle, White Sands Federal Credit Union has the perfect loan. Our super low rates mean low payments for new or used vehicles. Enjoy up to 90 days of road trips before your first payment. And you can even skip a payment or 2 each year. Already driving your dream? Ask how refinancing can save you money. For easy, fast approval, apply online, stop by a branch, or tell your dealer you're financing with White Sands Federal Credit Union.